Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this maxi smoked dress that you can see on the screen. So without wasting much time, let's get into it. And if you're wondering why it's looking loose on my body, it wasn't my size. I made this for someone that was bigger than I was, but I had to wear it to show for this tutorial. So first, your fabric, you're going to open it up. This is the fabric I'm working with. It's a complete 6 years, that's why it's looking like this. But for this tutorial, I think you will need about 2 to 3 years depending on your bust size, because that's the widest part of the measurement you're going to work with. So now this bust is 39, the one I'm working with, so I'm going to be using double of this measurement because of the smocking I'm going to be doing. So now I'm just folding my fabric into 2 so that I can measure this, because it's a very wide measurement. Then here I'm just removing 6 inches out. It's actually 7 inches this dress will start from on her chest, but I just started measuring from 6 inch down to 39, which is the length from her chest line to her knee. You know that this style has another gathered effect from that knee down to the floor. So that's what I just did first. So after you've done that first measurement at that chest line, that is 7 inches I came down by, I'm going to fold it like you see me doing on the screen, and then I'm going to hem it just to start the smocking from that point. So this is going to be very wide, so you're just going to carefully hem it. If this measurement is too wide for you, when you times your bust measurement into 2, like when you do double of your bust measurement, you can remove like 5 inch 10 inch from it, so it's not be too wide. But I just did double of the bust measurement. It was wide, but it was still okay for her. So now I'm just going to be setting my thread, and since it's an elastic thread, you don't have to pull too much. If you're wondering how many threads I used for this tutorial, it was about 1.5. I did not use much because it's just from the chest to the waist. So just carefully wrap it around this bobbin. You be very careful, you don't have to stretch the thread. If not, it's going to be difficult for you when you're sewing. Just don't stretch it like that, just carefully do it like you see me doing on the screen. Also, when you wrap the thread, please do not overdo it. Like, let there be small space. Do not make it too congested. Do not make it too full. So when you put it into the bobbin case like this, that part that we usually pass our thread through, you see that small screw there? We are going to use the small screwdriver and just loosen it up a bit. If you don't have the small screwdriver, I think you can use knife, but you have to be very careful. But the screwdriver will work well. This little yellow screwdriver that comes with the machine, just carefully loosen it so that the thread can pass easily through that place. You don't want it to be too tight, because if it's too tight, it's going to also affect the smocking. Your smocking would be very tight, and that way it could even, if it's too tight, it's going to be snapping, it's going to be constricting, so you don't want that. So just make it loose there, and the thread can pass easily like that. Also, when you finish setting the thread for that other side on your machine here, to move it forward, you notice that it gets loose, and then when you bring it backwards, it gets tighter. So what you have to do is just to make it a little bit loose so that the thread can come out easily and also match the looseness at the bottom. So this is when I'm smocking. When I finish up a particular side, I just put the other end to continue. Like, this is the way I sew to just save thread. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I will show you more of what I'm talking about. So like, if I finish a particular line, like at the end of it, instead of me to backstitch and then cut it off, I'll backstitch and then I'll just take from the beginning again and fix to continue the straight stitch that I was making. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you can just do it the way you are used to, but this part I think you understand from this other clip. So now when I finish and I backstitch like this, so now you just take the beginning like this and just fix it, and then you continue sewing. Then when you continue sewing, you do the back stitch also here, and then you just continue the straight line. Then when you've sewn inside, you cut off the thread and continue your sewing. So that way you're able to save elastic thread, but you can still do it the normal way. It does not matter. Just say, let me add it for the tutorial. So now when I'm done, I've smoked up to the half length, which is around 16 or 17. Just at your half length, I came down by 1 inch extra to just do an extra smocking. Then now at this end, you know, this is double of her bust measurement, so the end is still wide. So we are going to cut the extra gathered part that we are going to attach to it, that will continue the long length of the maxi gown. So now I measured it again, and now I have cut out the extra. For the length, I used 20 inches more, so it's going to be flowing very well. Just take the length to where you want it to stop. Here my own is 20 inches, 20 and a half. I'm going to also hem from this 20 inches. So now for the width, like how wide this 20 inches is, this is double the measurement of the bust plus extra 20 inches, because I noticed that the down gathers isn't as much as I thought. It's just a little bit of extra material. Then when you're done, you're going to fold the hem as well. Then you're going to gather this side. You run a straight stitch and then you pull it for the gathered effect. If you want your gathers to be much, you can always add more than 20 inches to your measurements, but my own is not that much. You saw it in the beginning how it looked like. So now how I do my smock, I'll just fold it into two and I'll sew on both sides. I know that some persons, they sew only on one side, but for fitting I like sewing on both sides. And the way I'm closing the seam, I'm using the French seam method. So here I have sewn on the right side. As you can see, this side that is facing the camera is the right side, so I'm going to flip it over and then sew on the wrong side. I'll just fold it like this and sew. You can still sew it the normal way, like I keep saying, and then you weave it, but I don't have access to a weaving machine right now, so that's why I'm using this French seam method. So this method just allows me to shape the waistline to get a little bit of fitting like this. So that's how I always do my smocking. I always sew on both sides. Some people sew only on one side, anyhow you like. So now after you've sewn the sides, you're going to also attach the extra 20 inches. So now for the organza at the chest, I've cut out two different pieces and I've hemmed the edges. You can weave the edges if you also like. So now this one is about 3 inches when I finished folding, but originally I think it was about 4.5 inches, like 4.5 inches. Because of the folding allowance that's reduced, it has reduced to 3 inches. This one is 2.25 inch or 2.5. But if you're cutting it out, you can cut it out as 3 inches or 3.5. Just depends on how wide you want it to be. This is for the organza at the chest. So now I'll run a straight stitch at the middle and then I'll drag it for the ruching effects, the gathered effects on both of them. Like I will run this straight stitch separately. You can run them together if you like, but I want the gathers to be very full and just like very full. Also, how I got the width for this is 17 inches. I times it by 2, and this 17 inches is from the across chest of the dress. Like I picked the front side and I measured it, what I got at the chest line, and it was 17 inches. So I doubled that measurement, and that is what I used to cut out the organza for the ruching. And as for the part that will be the front or back, you don't have to worry. You can pick any side that you like and use. So now you buy this velvet strip, or if you don't want to use any black material but the style used a velvet strip. This part now that I have joined, I bought about 3 yards and I used about 2.5 for the dress. So this part that I have joined, I'm going to place this velvet bias on it. I just placed it in the middle of it, like the seam line is in the middle of the velvet, and then I'm going to sew by the edge of the velvet on that side. So here I have run the straight stitch on the organza and I'm going to pull it carefully, slowly. You don't have to rush it so that the thread will not snap. Yeah, just to clarify, I'm going to stitch at the edge of the velvet on both sides, not on one side. So you're just going to carefully pull this organza, both of them. Now this is what they are looking like, and we are going to gather it up to the front width, like the 17 inches. So you have to be careful while placing them. This my organza is kind of strong. If you also get a soft one, it does not matter. Any type of organza you see, it just depends on the preference. So you're going to place it on top of it, both of them, and then you're carefully going to pin it on the front of the dress like this. You can see how it's looking like. So I've taken that to my sewing machine and I have stitched that down carefully. I've also pinned this strap to the dress. This strap can be any width you like, but the length is about 12 inches. Just depends on the length you want, but between 12 to 13 inches. 14 inches might be too long, but between 12 to 13 will be okay for the strap. So when you're done, you just pin the strap, and with the velvet sewn at the edge. The dress is finished, hemmed it down as well. So this is what it's looking like. Thank you for watching the tutorial up to this point. Please like, comment and share. Your support is greatly and highly appreciated. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.